Uh, I'm waiting to see what is going to transpire from the media, the primarily white-owned media, because now they have to do damage control. They have egg on their face for basically all this premeditated, you know, racial innuendo, premature celebration of basically a person that failed to get it done, not once, but twice. And then let's get something straight. And I'm finna like dead this right now. First of all, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest high school and collegiate athlete we ever saw. Okay, so can we please stop it with this Caitlin Clark stuff? At the end of the day, as I said before. Oh, by the way, go listen to what Cam said. What Cameron said on the Is What It Is podcast. Absolute truth. I agree with primarily mostly of what Cameron said. He said basically us black people, we was rallying behind Dawn Staley like we should have been. And I know somebody go come on here and say, hey, let's not make this about race. This stuff divides us. We're divided because we already been divided. We've been divided since we set foot in this country. Okay, so just stop this stuff. Stop playing these games. Can we knock it off, please? Nobody is not trying to hear this. So like I said before, I made the video last night saying we don't celebrate losing. No, we're not going to change the narrative now. We're not going to celebrate somebody losing and give them accolades and props for losing. No, let's just talk about what it really is. Caitlin Clark is a two-time failure. She failed to get it done. You can't leave college with records and not championship. If you have all these records, it's meaningless. Hey, what's going on? My boy WBC in the house. So, what's up, WCS, World Combat Sports? But yeah, we not celebrating losing. And once again, shout out to Sister Dawn Staley for getting it done. Caitlin Clark was the great white hype. And I'm going to say this once again. Shout out to my boy, World Combat Sport. Me and him remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest collegiate player ever. Most dominant high school player. Most dominant college player. They had to change the rules because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Do you know they banned the slam dunk because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Who y'all think y'all talking to? Who you think you talking to? And I remember Dawn Staley when she played collegiate basketball and she played in the WNBA. Why are we not celebrating her? She the one that won. Not Caitlin Clark, a two-time loser. Now, I'm going to be on my boy Torian Rain's show probably Thursday. We're going to discuss this. But at the end of the day, we celebrating Dawn Staley and her victory going undefeated. Undefeated. Like I said before, we don't celebrate people losing. If that's the case, we should celebrate that Golden State Warriors team, even though that's my squad, that failed miserably in the finals. 73 wins, 9 losses, and they couldn't get it done. We could go back and forth about how the NBA interfered in the final, which they did to assist LeBron in winning. But all it was about was Cleveland coming back and winning that series. And then that's when you first had the discussion about whether LeBron James was to go, when LeBron James basically begged the NBA to suspend Draymond Green. We're not celebrating that New England Patriots team that couldn't get it done against Eli Manning. Say what you want to say. Eli Manning is up for the Hall of Fame next year. He should go into the Hall of Fame solely on the fact that he beat Tom Brady not once, but twice in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady would have 9 Super Bowl rings if it wasn't for Eli Manning. That alone gets him into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. We don't celebrate losing. So now all of a sudden they're trying to change the narrative for Caitlin Clark. Oh, what went wrong? We don't give a damn what went wrong. We shouldn't be focusing on Caitlin Clark losing, not being able to get it done. We supposed to be celebrating the winners. A few years, like I said before, the Texas Rangers won the World Series. Are we supposed to be celebrating who they beat in the World Series? Are we supposed to be celebrating the San Francisco 49ers losing to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl? No, we're celebrating Patrick Mahomes. So now all of a sudden, we supposed to go on this sympathy train for Caitlin Clark. Couldn't get it done. And you had all these white supremacists backing her up that were attacking Angel Reese. So I want to see what Jason Whitlock is going to have to say now. I want to see where's Jason Sudeikis. I want to see where's David Portnoy at. I want to see where all those dudes at that were talking about Angel Reese. She went through this a whole year. And then they saying that Caitlin Clark is going to get a multi-million-dollar contract. Why? Don't you think she need to wait a few years and see, will she have a real impact? You just can't come out the gate giving her that kind of money. One, she didn't win. But you finna give her X amount of money to play in the WNBA? And all these dudes, I don't want to say no names, but all these dudes that were sitting up here talking about they gonna give her these contracts, these multi-million, for what? You get rewarded for not winning? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so that's what we doing now. That's what we doing now. Really? We finna reward people for losing now. So now all of a sudden the white media is changing the narrative. So now they want to celebrate losing instead of winning. Okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense in the world, right? But this is what happens when you back somebody and you put all this emphasis on this one person. But they kept forgetting who Iowa had to play in the national championship. See, they put all this emphasis on her facing Angel Reese and beating Angel Reese, but they forgot that, well, to get the job done, they had to go through South Carolina. And South Carolina locked her down defensively. And those were a lot of freshmen that Dawn Staley was playing. They locked her down. So this proves that Caitlin Clark going to have a lot of difficulty in the WNBA. She's going to need a certain type of system to be successful. And you had a bunch of people, you had a bunch of idiots, and particularly feminists, on social media talking about she could hold her own in the NBA. Please stop it. Please stop it. And then you got racist ass Skip Bayless, because that's what Skip Bayless is. And ain't nobody fooled by the notion that he, quote unquote, was so-called raised by a black woman. I'm going to say this time and time again. Just because some white dude is married to a black woman don't mean that he like black people as a whole. And just because some white lady is married to a black man doesn't mean she likes all black people as a whole. She could just like Black D, or the white dude could like Black P, because I know a whole bunch of people that are biracially mixed and said that one of their white parents was racist. I knew a girl that had a white father, and she said her dad was racist as hell. Said she used to always catch him like saying little slick stuff about black people. And she said whenever she dated a black dude, she said her dad would be acting funny style towards the black dude. So, can we please stop it with that stuff? But like I said before, I can't wait to see what they're going to be talking about all day pertaining to basically Iowa failing. Because like I said before, we need to be giving Dawn Staley her just due. Nah, Kareem was the greatest college player ever. Pete Maravich was very good. But like I said before, they talking about she broke all these records and all this kind of stuff. Well, she played for 5 years, kind of. But here's the thing, records don't mean nothing if you don't win the entire thing. The whole sole purpose why LeBron James is in the GOAT discussion is because LeBron James does have 4 championships. He has 4 championships, whether we like it or not. I know people say that bubble championship shouldn't count, but on record, it counts as a championship. We could holler about the conditions we was in at that time, but it counts. And there's no way you could get around it. And then LeBron, do you think LeBron James would be in the GOAT discussion alone just because he broke Kareem's all-time scoring record? No. You have to win. That's how it's always been. If that's the case, if that's the case, like I keep saying, Barry Bonds is arguably probably top 5 greatest baseball player ever. But unfortunately, he never could win the big one. And the sole chance he had to win the big one, Dusty Baker blew it. I'm talking about Barry Bonds had a World Series for the ages. He was very close to winning his first World Series ever. Dusty Baker, to me, single-handedly cost the Giants that World Series. And once again, Barry Bonds never tested positive for anything. We can suspect it all we want, but he never failed a drug test. So that's what I'm saying. LeBron wouldn't be in this discussion for the GOAT if he didn't have no rings. That's just how it works. The reason why they say Tom Brady is the greatest football player ever because of all those Super Bowls. Because technically, I'm going to say this much, and this is just real talk. One of the greatest football players that I ever saw, and my boy, World Cup Bass Sports probably can attest to it. One of the greatest football players that I ever saw in my life that never won a ring was Barry Sanders. And I'm going to tell you right now, had Barry Sanders not quit, he would have been the all-time leading rusher. But unfortunately, Barry Sanders never won anything. One of the greatest quarterbacks that I ever seen play was Phillip Rivers. Didn't win anything. You look at Phillip Rivers' numbers, hell of a quarterback. Didn't win anything. Dan Fouts at the time, hell of a quarterback. Didn't win anything. So that's why their greatness is ignored because they didn't win anything. So now all of a sudden they want us to change the narrative for Caitlin Clark. No, we're not changing the narrative. She got to win something. She got to go in the WNBA. She got to dominate. They should not give her no multi-million-dollar contract if she ain't won anything. You're supposed to go by the merit system. The media hyped her up to be more than what she really was. She didn't get the job done, so she shouldn't be getting rewarded millions of dollars for basically losing. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, I forgot about Cheryl Miller. Cheryl Miller was one of the greatest high school basketball players and collegiate player. Cheryl Miller in high school, if I'm not mistaken, she scored 100 points or 101 points. But unfortunately, by the time the WNBA came about, she was just far too past her prime to try to consider playing in the WNBA for a long time. But Cheryl Miller was a hell of a basketball player. Hell of a basketball player. A lot of people said that she was better than Reggie Miller. And once again, and see, that's what I'm saying. When you talk about greatness, Reggie Miller, hell of a basketball player. Didn't win anything. And that's just how it worked. We're not going to change the rules just for one white woman. Well, yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. She scored over 100 points in a game before. So if you really want to make those comparisons, like I said, because I could be a stat dude. I could shut all this down. But like I said before, what you're going to see today is a whole bunch of damage control. And of course, what they're gonna do, they're gonna try to shame us. They're gonna pick on us. They're gonna try to bully us for calling this out. Oh, hey, don't do this, Town. Hey, man, we're divided. Don't make this about race. Y'all made it about race. We know what y'all did to Angel Reese. And first of all, I'm gonna say this once again. It was okay when the white girl was doing the hand gesture thing, the UKSCB thing. They thought it was the greatest thing they ever seen. But when the black girl did it, then all of a sudden they was talking about class and thugs and all that kind of stuff. They came up with every derogatory narrative to throw at basically Angel Reese and black people. They turned just something from basically a hand gesture, just saying that, you the shit, to something racist and criminal. They criminalized it. That's what made it so stupid. So I'm just saying, she choked. She couldn't get it done, and we not finna celebrate. We not finna celebrate and change the narrative just for her. No, we're not doing it. We're not celebrating somebody not being able to get it done. We gonna celebrate Coach Dawn Staley on a tremendous undefeated. This is who need to be getting their props, and I'm gonna keep congratulating Dawn Staley. Shout out to her. Shout out to that sister. Now, my thing is, I want to know where all these, I just want to know where all these feminists is. Like I said, everybody got egg on their face. The feminists, the white supremacists, a lot of these coons, these tethers that was sitting up here attacking Angel Reese, they look stupid now. So now they got to figure out, like, how do we spin this? How do we put a spin on this? How do we do damage control due to the fact that Caitlin Clark failed not once but twice to get it done? And all this premature celebration about her being the greatest collegiate, just complete, utter bull. Can we stop it? Like I said before, you talking to a dude that knows sports. That's why my channel is called Tailbit of Sports Entertainment. I know sports. I remember all this stuff. Like I said before, Cam had the greatest assessment pertaining to Caitlin Clark. And basically, he regurgitated something that I've been saying for years on why America never really celebrated the greatness of Dirk Nowitzki, why they really ain't got behind Jokic. Another reason why Luka may not ever be the guy, but they trying to make Caitlin Clark the female version of Larry Bird. And that's basically what they're doing. She being rewarded for winning nothing. And I don't think that's fair to the people that have won. That's just real talk. But anyway, well, they was so busy worried about Iowa and her, playing Angel Reese and beating Angel Reese, they forgot about the team they had to go through to win the national championship. Oh my God. I'm so glad that they didn't win. I'm so glad that they didn't win, because they would have her comparing her to the likes. They would say, oh, nobody's making an impact on the game more than. And that's the problem. These media pundits, they sit up and lie, and they try to insult your intelligence. And when you call it out, they get mad. This is why they hate media like me. This is why they don't like media like me. This is why they say, don't listen to these dudes. They don't have the credentials that I have. They don't have the background that I have. Well, here's the thing. I may not have the background that you have, but at the same time, I'm being more truthful than you are. Unlike you work for somebody and you got to take orders. They tell you what to say. Nobody's telling me what to say. See, the difference between me and you working for those big networks, yeah, you getting paid a lot of money. Yeah, of course you are. But at the same time, you compromise yourself because you ain't allowed to say what's really on your mind. You have to say what they want you to say. So that's the difference. Anyway, you guys, I'm out.